opposing the Vietnam War, growing into fighting, to end poverty, growing into accepting his unpopularity for what he believed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's endless. He's my superhero. So yeah, he's my superhero. There's no excuse for his infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no excuse for his infidelity. In my mind, one of the redeeming factors of his life is that he did have meaningful friendships with females.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a host of females with whom he actually had non-sexual relationships that, were meaningful friends. But, on the marriage front, on the infidelity front, yeah, he wrecked a lot. Yeah, there's no real excuse for it. I can look back into his life, and there's certain traumas that he went through. Like, he actually wanted to marry a woman back when he was in seminary, but she happened to be German and white, and it was unpopular to do so then. Yeah, there's no excuse for what he did.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because we sometimes feel like we have to make excuses, but we don't. And I think just the mere fact of us being human and flawed is enough, because if we had a microscope in our lives, there would be things that people would say, you know what, there's no excuse for that. But some of the key words that I thought about is, I definitely love the nonviolence part of it, but I look at him and I see like legacy is the big word that comes out for me, because it really, for him, and I'm not sure if he knew the type of legacy he was going to leave, but it surpassed his family. Like it changed the whole generation. It changed the culture. It changed the world. And so his fingerprint is really, it's all over, worldwide. And so that's huge. That's huge, to be able to make a difference in that type of way. And it's just hearing your thoughts about him, Tobias. Again, it just goes back to perception. Like that is like you connect with him on a different level, and I had no idea.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just I wanted to highlight him in terms of branding. So I'm glad I did, because I was able to learn a deeper part of you. So.
Yeah. No, next to Jesus.
But if you talk to people who agree with, and they may not be Muslims, but if they agree with Malcolm X's his approach, they would have a totally different words to say in terms of his branding. Some people will call him soft and passive, when really he was definitely doing the Jesus thing, turning the cheek and loving people and not fighting. And so yeah, it really depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, in terms of the soft piece, there's absolutely no softness there.
Mm-hmm.
To be a Southern preacher and to be courageous enough to speak out against white supremacy in 1955 was,
Right.
off the charts.
Yeah.
And to do it through 1968,
Mm-hmm.
was still monumental. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. And I definitely reference him when I, when I talk about the great die young. And, I definitely believe this was a man on a mission, very similar to Jesus. Jesus had his mission. He completed it in 33 years. And, MLK Jr. had his mission and completed it in 60 some years or less, And so I believe he fulfilled exactly what God wanted him to do on this earth. And so that to me is definitely admirable, for sure.
Yeah. He died at 39. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. When I said 60, I was thinking of the year. What year was
Yes.
it?
Yeah, yeah,
68 or something?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely achieve greatness in such a small amount of time. And so, that's encouraging for us because that just to show, even going back to what you said, Tobias, you said that this year wasn't the greatest. You know what? But next year can be. And it doesn't take a long time to make the changes and make the difference. And that's definitely very evident in the lives of Martin Luther King and, the lives of Jesus. They did what they needed to do in such a small amount of time. So, God can work quickly. Anyway, um, moving on to Chick-fil-A. What do you think about with Chick-fil-A?
Tobias, would you like to go first? As I
Sure.
think.
Well, I definitely want to make a comment on Chick-fil-A. I was definitely pleasantly surprised. I don't even know why I was looking this up. I don't know, but first of all, they've definitely been a good sponsor and a partner with me. So
I love Chick-fil-A.
But also I do believe that there is something about their chicken that it seems fresher. It seems I feel like the people are praying over it in the background. It's different. But one thing that I was very intrigued from a business standpoint is that with them being closed 6 days out of the week, they are still the number one fast food restaurant. And so to me, that is just super duper impressive. And it speaks to me, it speaks to their boldness and how they took a stance that, you know what, I'm going to shut down on a Sunday, which can be I'm sure, a profitable day for them. But they decided to take a stance, in terms of their faith. And so for me, that's definitely admirable. And I just see them as being bold, very bold. I mean, the CEO, you know, it's just, there's just certain things that he won't tolerate. And so, yeah, when I think of them, I think of bold. I mean, I think of great chicken for sure. And, even from a health standpoint, chicken over beef. So I'm all team Chick-fil-A. I am. I guess they're my superhero in terms of chicken. And honestly, I've really been scaling back on meat, but that is one place that I will indulge their chicken. So yeah.
I like Chick-fil-A a lot. I like the fact that they're family oriented and they have good customer service. They're friendly and they move quickly. I really like the way they're strategic in getting, because here in Somerville, sometimes the line is wrapped around the building. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A, but they move quickly in terms of having people come out to the car to take the orders. So yeah.
And that's actually one thing. Yeah, that's key. That's the same thing. I've never had bad customer service there. I mean, everyone's friendly. Everybody's like, that's huge. Customer service is definitely not what it used to be in terms of restaurants. I mean, I've worked in restaurants and fast food, and it's not the same. But every time I go there, it's consistent for sure. But go ahead, Tobias.
No. I mean, since I'm from the north, I've never been to Chick-fil-A that much. So, yeah. So actually, the first and only time I've been to a Chick-fil-A was with you. So, but I mean, yeah, their Sunday only, their Sunday close policy was a big deal for me. But I guess the other big deal is that, when people talk about paying $7, $8, $9 for a meal, at McDonald's or Wendy's or anywhere else, Burger King, people do it with a grumble. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm paying this money because I really need to eat, and it's good or whatever. But I've never seen anybody feel bad about spending money at Chick-fil-A. So yeah, it is a unique brand.
No, that's a great point. I mean, I think it just speaks to the quality of their food. and just the experience. You pay for ambiance. You're paying for that top tier customer service. I mean, that's huge. Like, I'm telling you, if you go to a McDonald's versus or a Wendy's or versus a Chick-fil-A, I'm almost guaranteeing you that your service is going to be better at Chick-fil-A. And I believe that goes back to the professional development piece and the training that they give their staff. And so, as we're kind of going through these things, I mean, these are, people we know, MLK we're familiar with, Chick-fil-A we're familiar with. But as we think through their brand and how we're talking about them, think about how you want people to talk about you. And, what is it that you can glean from Chick-fil-A, from MLK? I mean, Chick-fil-A for sure, the customer service piece, So think about those things as we're talking about them, and what can we take from them? How can we apply that to our brand and to our ministry? And ministry is huge, so people think just because it's ministry and you love God that you don't have to do much. But ministry in itself is dealing with people. And there is just a huge part of customer service that is attached to that. And so we need to expect that. We need to expect good service when we're going to churches or when we're dealing with ministries. One of my pastor friends / pastor mentor, just super fond of this guy. And he is really a pastor's pastor. Like, he's the type of person that you want to be at your bedside if you're sick. You want him at your funeral if someone's dying. Like, he just has a heart for people. I mean, he'll tell you himself, he's like, well, I'm not that good at teaching. I'm like, Pastor Greg, yes, you are. He's a great teacher, but he is really a people person. And so when we're thinking about expanding our teams, whether it be business or ministry, think about somebody who has that heart. Because everybody don't have that heart. Like, he has a gift. I know he has a gift of mercy, and that comes with compassion. Everybody don't have that. Like, you can be a believer and still may not have that as a gift. And so just think about the team as well. As you build your team, who do you need on your team that can help you build your brand, that can help you leave the legacy that you want to leave, that can help you with the customer service or help you build a product or service that is worth people paying a top dollar for. Well, I always reference Marshawn because she's just phenomenal, I believe, at what she does. And so she has made herself known, you know what, I'm not having a cheap product. Like, I just won't do it. And I believe it's one, she knows her value, but also she knows the type of people to bring on her team, and her husband being one of them, and some of the marketing gurus that she worked with. And so you don't have to be great at everything, but you can have the right people on your team that make it look like you're great at everything. And so I think that's a part, going back to Chick-fil-A, I think that's a part of what they do. They hire well. So last but not least, this great guy over here to the right. My right. President Trump. Your thoughts on him?
Well, you said not to show the weak. We all have weaknesses to overcome. So I'm trying to be easy on him.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think. Go ahead, April.
No, please, because I'm trying to find the right words.
Well, I mean, I think that it's really, for me, it's just about to laugh. It's better to laugh to keep you from crying. And whether or not we want to admit it, he is good at branding, and he is good at publicity, and he is good for being all up in the media. And so maybe not for the best things, but he does get the publicity that I believe he's seeking. And so, and I believe deep down he is somewhat of a good business person. Now, in terms of, the people side and just his ethics and morals and everything else, I don't, there's just a lot of things I don't agree with. But I think one thing that is for sure, I'm hoping that, the people of faith primarily are praying more than they ever have. as it relates to government officials, because the word does tell us that we should pray for our leaders. And I think we've never had to pray harder than we do now. But yeah, he definitely has a brand. And he definitely is floating. His brand is just floating all through social media. And so he's good at getting attention. If he's not good at anything else, he's good at getting attention. I'll say that.
Yes.
I'll say that. Anything before we move on concerning branding?
Oh yeah, nothing about branding, so I'll leave Trump alone.
Yeah. Or about Trump. I just don't want to spend too much time on him. But or about Trump. I would love to hear your perspective, Tobias.
Well, the I mean, the quick and the short of it is that it's absolutely scary that somebody who had a brand that so many people could buy into, whether it was Marshawn Evans or Randall Pinkett from the New Jersey area,
right,
who won The Apprentice one year,
mm-hmm.
and my brother was into him. I just was too slow to get into him that quickly, but I mean, so many people brought into his brand as being a good business brand. And, Marshawn, for example, ended up speaking against Trump. So,
right.
I mean, she had no illusions about him as a candidate. But so many people brought into the business part of his brand that it's hard to, can you separate the two? So, I mean, just as it's hard to, for April, for example, for you to separate, Dr. King's infidelity from his, faithfulness. It's just scary for me to have to think about separating his business savvy from his racism and hatred. So and misogyny. So it's really hard, particularly seeing both people on the screen at the same time.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think when I think of Trump now that we're looking at the brand, it makes me think of almost what you don't want to do in regards to him not being a team player or not exhibiting integrity. And for me, also the legacy that will be left behind. I'm kind of, I guess, integrating his name along with the things that you're teaching us about the brand. Almost what that you don't want to do, I guess, if that makes sense. Or the type of person you wouldn't want to be in a business setting.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you guys know this, but it's definitely a good wake-up call to show that you can be a positive or a negative, so regardless of whether you're doing anything positive or negative, you still have a brand. And I think that's key in terms of what we're talking about. I'm trying to share this with my thing here. But yeah, it's really, it feels like, and we're going to move on, but it does feel like we are in, it doesn't feel real. I feel like I'm in a dream. When you think about who we had and, President Obama and, I believe there were a lot of similarities between him and Dr. King. When you think about that and to see where we are now, it's just, it's hard for me to believe. It really is hard for me to believe. And I always tell my husband, pinch me. Is this real? But it is, unfortunately. But it also, looking at other people, you can see how you want to grow and how you want to do and shape and
absolutely.
What is going on, Kadesha? But yeah, this is where we are. Can you believe it?
Yeah, just hoping it won't take us back too far. Yeah.
So
one of the things I did want to add, if I could,
Sure.
when you were talking about the weaknesses, we all have weaknesses to overcome. I don't know if that just stuck out to me. It made me think of that being the reason why we need God. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking about some of the people in the Bible, like David, how he was still considered the apple of God's eye, mm-hmm. in spite of his shortcomings, and Solomon. Mm. He was still gifted to be the wisest man, even though he had concubines, and many wives. And even Noah, I mean, he was chosen to build the ark. Mm-hmm. Moses as well. I mean, he got tired of the people, which is understandable, mm-hmm. which is quite understandable. When you're having to lead, I'm sure there are a lot of issues that are presented.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do need that. The word tells mm-hmm. us in our weakness, he is made strong. And so we are reminded, well, I don't think he reminds us daily, but when we're confronted with our weaknesses, that's where we can boast. Paul said he boasted, in Christ when he talked about this weakness. And even, he asked God to take away his weakness, and he told him that my grace is sufficient. And so even with our weaknesses and our business, in our daily routines, I can probably count a few thorns on my side that I had that I'm like, Lord, are you going to take this away or not? And maybe the answer is no. But the cool thing about it is that his grace is sufficient. So even in me knowing that I can do this better, knowing that I want to get up earlier, and knowing I want to do this and this and this and that, and I don't, his grace is sufficient. And that's the power in the God that we serve. Like, we can have 1,000,001 weaknesses. We were just talking about this the other day, actually. One of the ladies was feeling inadequate because she's a new supervisor and she has a team, and she's like, whoa, this is all new to me. Like, how do I manage these people? And I could relate because I felt the same way when I was running my after school program. And so, there was just a scripture, and I believe it was 2 Samuel. I don't have it off the top of my head now, but basically, Solomon, I believe it was Solomon, asking God for wisdom on how to govern the people. And so, we just have to ask God, even in this weakness of mine right now, because it can be a temporary weakness, right? It can make you feel inadequate temporarily. Give me the wisdom to move forward in it. And so, he's awesome. He is super duper awesome. And so he will give you what you need when you need it. For sure.
Absolutely.
And if he don't give it to you, he'll give you grace. So people won't even be able to see your weakness. But I do want to transition over to the marketing piece of it. So let's go ahead and move to that. I don't know if I could not send out the slides because for whatever reason, my email server wouldn't even come up. So you don't have this, obviously you don't have this slide, April, but what I have here is, it says marketing defined, and underneath it is basically a lady with a hand on her hip in a grocery store, and she's in an aisle trying to figure out what to choose. And so that's basically, in a nutshell, that is marketing in its essence. There is so much. There's so many products. There's so many services. There's a plethora of things, right, for people to choose from. And so for us, it's like, how can I stand out? I have a brand. How can I stand out? Thank you, Tobias. Did you find the scripture for me?
Oh, yeah.
Solomon's prayer for wisdom. I feel like it's listed in 2 areas. It's 1 Kings, and then I feel like there is 2 Samuel 1-2.
Let me see.
I have it written down in my book, but it's definitely listed in 2 areas. But April, 1 Kings 3-9 through 14 is definitely a prayer for wisdom from Solomon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But okay, so going back to the marketing piece. The ladies in the grocery store has her full grocery cart, but it looks like, I don't know if she's trying to figure out what noodles to buy or something for maybe some spaghetti. But this is the one of the reasons we need marketing, April, is so we can make sure that we stand out. If your product, or you, let's just say somebody wants to buy you, you're sitting on the shelf and they're trying to figure out, why do I go with April? Like, April needs to be screaming off of the shelf on why they need to choose you. And so, that's why we have marketing, because there's so many options. Just think of the world we live in. We have so many options, even back to the fast food. Somebody can go to Chick-fil-A, or someone can go to, what they have, Steak and Shake down in Atlanta. Oh, shucks. And then I hit the wrong thing. Did you find it for me, Tobias? What?
Oh, yeah.
What was it? Oh, 1 Chronicles 1:10 through 12. Am I making this Samuel thing up? Maybe I made it up.
No. First, no. Just. I mean, First Samuel is April's son's book, and then Saul becomes king, and then 2 Samuel, David becomes king, and then by 1 Kings, that's when Solomon becomes king.
I gotta look at. Maybe I got the. I'm gonna have to go get it. I'll get it in a minute.
And then 1 and 2 Chronicles repeat the King dynasty history. Yeah.
Okay. So 1 Chronicles 1:10 through 12. April.
Okay. Thank you. I wrote that down. And then 1 King 3 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 Samuel is it 1 and 2?
No, I gotta find it. I don't want you to write that down yet.
Okay.
Because
I need to read
my thing. Thank you for your Facebook post. Y'all have me all over the place. I'm looking at your post on Facebook.
Sorry.
Talking about marketing and grocery store. So marketing. It's important because it's so much for you to choose from. Point blank, period. Even from down to a church. There is 1,000,001 churches. There's a church on every corner. And if you're not, it may be 2 on every block. So they are doing some type of marketing, some type of outreach as well. And so the key here is there's a bunch of products and services. Why would people choose you? Why would they want to do business with you? And so marketing is actually basically, the business of promoting and selling your products and services. And it includes a ton. Are you still over the Tobias?
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. That's 2 Chronicles, not 1 Chronicles.
So Tobias is, if you haven't noticed, is I feel like you're a researcher.
Yeah, I'm a geek in that respect, I guess.
Why can't I see you guys? Oh, there you are.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Tobias.
You know what? We're going to have to put on this pause because I got to go find my, let me go find, was it my book? I think it's in my book. That way I'll show you guys the book also. Woo!
That's good to be a Bible scholar, Tobias.
Yeah,
no, definitely.
No, thanks. I do. I really do love the Bible. So yeah.
That's awesome. I like referencing. Like if I study one topic and then kind of cross-reference, similar to what you all just did, where you found the different similar or could relate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, actually, this is less of me being a Bible scholar, but years ago when I was almost just as penniless as I am now, maybe, but when I was penniless, I took this minimum wage job working like $5.25 an hour. And I worked in this Bible bookstore, Christian bookstore, and, for like $5.25 and like, yeah, basically in terms of pay, it was one of the worst jobs of my life, but the experience of just being around Christian books was cool. So I got this really cheap $12 Bible that has cross references to everything you can imagine.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I actually used it so much that I had to buy a second version of the same kind of Bible. But it's like $15 from Zondervan, basically. And they're cross references to anything you can imagine. So I'm actually not thinking of scriptures. I'm actually just, I have a general idea where things are, and then the Bible does the rest of the work for me. So
that's awesome.
So it's less scholarship and more just a minimum wage job that paid off.
Wait, I missed
I'm sure that was I was telling him he was a Bible scholar, and I was explaining to him how I like to cross-reference different scriptures, and he expressed. You said you worked in a Christian bookstore, Tobias?
Yeah, I used to work in a Christian bookstore for minimum wage, which was $5.25 then, and you know, one of the benefits of working there was that I got to read a lot of the books, and so that there's a Zondervan Holy Bible reference. Just it's really cheap. It's like $12, $15, but they pretty much cross-reference in the middle of the row anything you can imagine. So it's less about being a scholar and more just about having a. I was telling April more about having a minimum wage job that actually paid off. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's not all about the money, Tobias. But silly me, I'm sitting here thinking I'm gonna show you this book, and I forgot you can't. My video's not working. So anyway, I have the book and I have the workbook, and it actually you were right. 2 Chronicles 1 and 10 is what I was referring to. So I don't know why I said Samuel. But now I completely lost my thought. Thank you, Tobias, for looking up and researching.
Sure thing.
I think you were talking about the choices with marketing.
Yeah.
It helps us get through the choices.
I was, and I'm bummed that you can't see this book. But while I have it, there is a study guide that comes with it too. So if you are going to get the book, you may want to think about the study guide. So, and I guess I'll put in a small plug. We're thinking about doing I hate to call it, I don't want to call it a book club because I don't like that terminology, but I don't think it goes well with my brand. But it'd probably be just a more so conversation, a book chat, or whatever we title it, but we're probably going to we're working through the details now. After, not sure when it's going to start, maybe at the top of the new year, but a book called Crash the Chatterbox by Pastor Stephen Furtick. And it's really about taking those negative thoughts. You know, the Bible tells us to take every thought captive and make it obedient to Jesus Christ. And so taking those thoughts captive and replacing them, you know, with positive thoughts, and really just getting a hold of that negative chatter that is constantly, I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You can be the most beautiful lady in the world. You can be a billionaire, a millionaire. If you are a believer, the enemy wants your mind. And so taking over those thoughts and replacing them. And so anyway, that would probably just be a conference call that we'll be doing. But again, we're working through those details, but I will definitely keep you in the loop for that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah.
And I've been watching all the videos that you passed on. So yeah, so I've watched all the sermons.
Oh, okay. So how you like Pastor Furtick?
He's good. I like him.
That was actually the ministry that I sold into, and next thing you know, I'm coming to speak in the area. So I'm excited. I get excited about sewing. We're all over the place right now, so we might as well stay there. But I get excited about sewing. I think you should too. Particularly when you can sew and partner with other people and ministry. I love it. So, in terms of prayer, keep me in prayer this weekend. I'm actually be traveling as well to the Detroit area, and super excited about it. I'm actually going to receive, so I'm very excited about that. But looking just forward to, you know, I've actually sold into their ministry before I get there, so or before I arrive. I wanted to make sure I had money to put into the ministry, but Yeah, God is just doing things all over.
Mm.
And he's not, limited to our zip code. And that's just the amazing part. Like, as he's here with us right now, on this call and on the video, he's with someone else in a different city and state and in a different country, and he's just that phenomenal. So yeah. So I guess, kind of getting back into marketing. I don't know, we done went all over the place, but getting back into marketing, basically, as we work, we want to make sure we're working as we work. We want to work as we're working for the Lord. And so I believe that comes with having a unique product. It just comes with belaboring and putting our work, putting our efforts before God and asking him, what is it that you want us to do? And I love what Bishop Jakes had said one time, and really gave me a cool perspective on God, on how he is like the most creative person we know. I mean, he really is creative. He created the world in, less than a week, less than 7 days. And so when it comes to the product that we have and the services that we have, we can too be that creative because we're made in his image. And so to me, marketing is, and probably why I love it the most, is creativity. It's about you being creative. And so there's something that we learn in business school, and it's really simple, the 4 P's of marketing. And so for me, I would probably add another P, which probably would be purpose, but whatever. But the 4 P's are, and I'm going to list it and give it to you quickly. The 1 P is product, and you can't see this, April, and hopefully my email and everything else will hopefully be up by tonight so I can send it out. But the 4 P's are product. So you understanding what it is you offer, what it makes your product different, unique, creative, right? And then making sure that product fulfills a need or a want. So they don't always fulfill a need, but it could just be a want. People may just want what you have because they want to spend money. My husband cracks up because my father-in-law is just always, he feels like he's always just trying to find something to buy. But there are people like that who just want to buy gadgets or just want to spend money because they can. So it's not a need, right? It may not be a need that you're feeling. It could be, you know what? I want some new shoes today, so I'm going to buy some new shoes. Or I want whatever. I want this book, so I'm going to buy a book. So anyway, having your product, that's the first P. The second one is price. So understanding what your price point is going to be. Even in a ministry and in a nonprofit standpoint, you have to figure out what it is that you are selling and what price point is it going to be at. And is it competitive? Will it affect, like we talked about earlier, will it bring in profit? Will it help me to pay my bills, or do I have to work a part-time or a full-time job? So that's the second P. So product, price. The third one is promotion. And that is really kind of going back to the lady in the grocery store. What is it that would help her to decide, while I'm in a grocery store aisle, what's going to be that key differentiating factor? And so for me, that's why advertising and commercial is phenomenal, because you remember those things. So when you go into a grocery store, when you go into a mall, you'll probably go with something that you just heard about. Or like for me, I'll have different cravings. But if I just heard like a Papa John's commercial, all of a sudden I may want Papa John's. And so that's kind of like the cool thing about advertising. You can actually create a desire for your product or service. Like people may not even know, you know what, I did need that. And all of a sudden they see your video, or they see a post, or they hear you on the radio, or see your commercial on TV. And it's like, you know what, I do want that. So it's like you're almost creating something. But so promotion encompasses so much. I mean, it could be videos, it could be radio, it could be TV, it could be social media. It could be now everything's online, search engine optimization. There's so much. But it's really from a small business standpoint, understanding what promotional avenues, I guess, work best for you and work best for your budget, because it can be super duper expensive. And then the last P is place. So knowing where consumers will engage with your product. So you may not be on a shelf like the Barilla noodles in the grocery store, but they may engage with you online. And so just understanding those dynamics. So that is, let's see, the key to 4 Ps. And so as we are, like, literally we have 2 months and 6-7 days left in this year, it's important to think about how you want to market yourself and your product as we move into 2018. Because you creating a marketing strategy can be easier than you think. Like, it doesn't have to be overly robust. Like, bullet points is fine, but you saying, you know what, I want to do this. I want to create X amount of emails. I want to make sure I have videos. I want to make sure I'm online. And attached to that, because that actually is going to be a part of your homework, attached to that is having a realistic budget that goes along with that. So even if you only spend $50 a month, that's still a budget. And so you need to know what you can do within that $50. Can you put postcards, direct mailers into the homes of people? Do you want to do social media ads? What is it that you want to do? And what is it that you can afford to get your product and or service out there? And so this year is pretty much done. So really, there's nothing stopping us, you, me, April, anybody listening. There's nothing stopping us from having a 12-month plan in place as it relates to our marketing for our products and services and our businesses and our ministries. And I think it's just scary to think that far in advance sometimes. But we got a plan. Successful people plan. And so that's what creating a marketing strategy will help you be successful. And not just marketing. This is just one aspect of your business. But this is a key, because this is how people find out about you. So that was super duper businessy. I felt like, how can I tie the Bible back into this? And you know what? Here we go. Thank you, Jesus. I just got it. Think about the disciples. Like, they were grassroots marketers. They were telling everybody about the Lord. And it's like, as a result, now you and I are believers, and pretty bold believers at that, based off of the strength of 12. So again, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot for you to be successful, but it does take having some ambassadors. And so I do believe that you need somebody on your team that believes in you. And those 2 or 3 that you start with, like, it will grow over time. It's like almost like a domino effect, or the snowball effect, rather. Like, it'll get bigger and bigger, and you'll have like more believers. Like, I'm believing in brand Tobias. And then over time, someone else will become a believer. So it's like what you did for me, April. She's not a believer yet. She hasn't heard me, but she believed in me because of you. And so now when I go down there and speak, and prayerfully the Lord speaks through me, she will become a believer and will begin to spread the message about living on purpose and tell people about me. So
Amen.
It just takes one. And then that one become 2, and that 2 become 3. And then next thing you know, you have a team of disciples.
That's true. A scripture that came to mind when you were talking about tying it in, I don't know if this can go with it, but the scripture, without a vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
Our vision is our 12-month plan.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And I think, and that's what I love so much about the Bible, is that it's applicable to every area. I think we forget that, we need to use Bible principles in our business, but it's so applicable. The same Bible principles you use in terms of growing your faith, you use that to grow your business. You use that to grow your relationship with your spouse or your children. The principles can be applied anywhere you're open to apply them.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
Just go ahead.
If I could just compliment you, Kadesha, if I'm pronouncing it right. You got me with the way you try to teach me how to pronounce your name, so I apologize. If I'm messing it up, every time I call you now, I'm thinking, okay, is that right?
You're cute. You're cute.
But just to show how God works, there were 5 people that I'm connected to, maybe 5 or 6.
Mm.
And only 2 of them she selected.
Mm.
You being one, and one of the poets that's on the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
So that speaks volumes. So I'm so happy that God has opened up the door and presented us with this opportunity, because it's going to be the first time for me to hear you as well. But
oh yeah,
yeah, just through the connection.
I forgot I wasn't ministering down there in South Carolina. We were just praying together.
Exactly. So yes, that's a blessing.
Yeah. And it's and that's and you know, just I guess real quick to encourage each of you is this is really the time that we're living in, that God will pour out his favor, and we have to open the door. We have to respond, and really I think all I did was respond. That's it.
Yeah.
I missed your text. I mean, I missed your email, but once I saw it, I said, oh, let me respond. And so that's the key. The key is to respond, because God is ready he's already opened the door. People are already said or are willing to say yes to whatever your gift is, to whatever your calling is, to whatever your product, your ministry, whatever. They're ready to say yes. It's just, we have to pick up the phone. We have to respond. We have to call. We have to put in effort, right? I mean,
yes,
faith
absolutely.
is dead. And so that has been definitely a theme that God has been reminding me over these past few months. Because I'm like you, Tobias. I mean, I'm beating myself up. There's a ton of things. I mean, this was supposed to be, and this is supposed to be my speak for pay year. And granted, I have spoken for pay. I think every opportunity I've had has been for pay. But I know I could have had more. And so, but I have to make the time to call and to follow up because they're ready to say yes. So if nothing else from tonight, you get that they're ready to say yes. They're ready to receive you. They're ready for you, for whatever you have. It's just, you have to respond. You have to react. There are just certain things that, there's certain miracles that God will provide. And then there's just certain things that we do the natural. He does the supernatural. So we have to do the natural part about it. And that the natural part is, writing your resume and looking over what you've done and creating that sheet, that I hate to say a show off sheet, but so you can show off. So you can show people what you've done, what you've accomplished. For you, Tobias, I mean, people would love to hear you talk, to hear you speak, to come and teach them, to come and do the research and find the scriptures, and and that we obviously, that's not the only area that you're gifted in. Obviously, law and legal. That's your area too. And so, like, I believe people want to receive you. It's we, and I'm talking to myself as well, who have got to get out of our own way. I don't know why it is such, it's really intimidating, like calling someone and like asking, hey, can I come and like speak and talk? And like, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But it's like, when I do ask, most times they say yes. So it's just like, I'm in my own way. So anyway, thank you, April, for your compliment, and thank you again for the referral. I'm looking forward to it, child.
I am too.
And
Definitely.
Brag a bit. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I mean, I think me and your cousin spoke for like maybe a day over text, and next thing I know, she was buying my plane ticket. She's like, yes, I'm going to pick you up from the airport. I'm like, yes, Jesus, this is what I want to go. So
yes, because she sent me the text and she said, everything's booked. And I was like, booked? Because I just knew that you all spoke. And I was like, that is great.
So I'm just excited. And this is our year.
Oh, so just for information's sake, when is the conference exactly again?
Oh, okay. Because I did
just,
think about you, and I meant to. I think I don't know if I said that earlier, but I thought it earlier. I
no,
thought about
just for information's sake. So I'm thinking about it when it happens.
November
3rd and 4th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's okay. No problem.
But I did think about you, Tobias, because, and I don't know everything, but she basically is the president, and it's funny because her last name is President, but that's neither here nor there. But she's the president of President Ministries, and it looks like she's going to be the president over their seminary. So
yes,
they've been approved to open up the seminary. She's going to be leading it, and she's going to be looking for like speakers. And I think some of that stuff is going to be like digitally, so online. And so you were definitely one that came to mind. So whatever I can do to connect you to, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah,
that is awesome.
I mean, that would be more than welcome. But yeah, I mean, I'm really asking for just to be prayerful and thinking about it. So yeah, November 3rd and 4th.
Yes.
Okay, so, awesome.
Yeah. So
that's the weekend after this.
Correct. So I travel this weekend, next weekend, and then my workshop. So y'all just keep praying.
We will. I definitely will.
Yeah.
All right. Oh gosh. Okay. So I think we're wrapping up here. So as the business plan, let's see if I can pull it up. So the last part of this was you planning your next 12 months. And so there's going to be something that I send out via email as soon as my email is working. And it's just for you to think through where you want to be. Let's see if I can find it. It is. And so I asked you a few questions. So the first one is, I'm probably going to add a little bit to it, but the first part is brand me. So who am I? What are my personality character traits? I need to change that. How have I evolved? How am I evolving? So these are some of the things that I'm going to send out for some homework. The marketing part, again, thinking about your marketing budget. Even if it's $5, get in the habit of creating a budget because you are marketing yourself in some form or fashion. And this is key. This is really going to help you think future. So what is the first product or program that you can market? So, and then I think, down here, I have a space for you to basically have your own your marketing timeline. So let's say your first product, let's just say you're launching a book. Why are you launching that book and the specific date? So I want us to be specific in the things that we're launching. So that way, my husband hates this. For me, it works in my favor. When I put down a date, now mind you, I let, if the Holy Spirit changes it, if God changes it, nobody's telling you to go against God. But what I'm asking you to do is to put down something specific, a date, February 14th, March 15th, April 21st, whatever that date is, and work your tail off to make sure you launch it by that time. Because I know something that you and I talked about, Tobias, previously, is some of your online courses. And so for you, it may be course X. And so between now and April 21st, what are those marketing tactics? What are those things that you're going to do to make sure you can launch this product? I'm working with my cousin. Actually, she's supposed to call me tonight. She's going to be releasing a book. And our tentative timeline is April 8th. So in between there are some things that needs to get done. But there's no reason why we cannot hit that timeline of April 8th for her book to be released. And so it's not about you creating a timeline and you missing it and then, you're down on yourself, because things happen. Life happens. But it's so you have that realistic date, so you have something that you're working toward. And I would work with couples and, planning their wedding, and they would kill me when they come meet with me, their event planner, and they have no wedding date. Goals and dreams don't become real until you have a date attached to it. So once you have a date, then we create that marketing strategy on what it is, how you're going to inform people about what you're launching. So this will be coming out in the email. But I really want us to think long term. It's almost like when you go into the grocery store, you have your list. Well, most people go in there with a list. But I think when you go in with a list, you're a little bit more focused. You don't have to look all around to see what you want. You're hungry. Your stomach doesn't have to talk to you on what to buy. You already have it written down on what you're going to do. And so that's the same thing as it relates to our business and our ministry. If you already have the list of things that you're going to do, then that helps you to stay focused. So then you won't do things that you shouldn't be doing. If it's not on your list, then you don't need to do it. And the only way you do it is because if God adds to it, if the Holy Spirit is prompting you. We wasn't planning on doing this workshop for free, but then in prayer time, the Holy Spirit was prompted me first, and then they was in agreement. So you don't add to it unless God tells you to add or change or take away. But as we walk in faith, we can create outlines, and God will have us to complete those outlines. With my conference last year, I had the date in the brochure last year that the conference this year is going to be September 22nd through the 24th. And that's when it took place. So the key here is I really want you to plan. I want 2018 to be better than 2017 for each and every one of us, particularly as it relates to our business and our ministry. And there's no reason why it can't be. It's just about having a focus, prioritizing, and writing the plan and making it plain. And then the areas in which we're not strong, team up with somebody who is. I'm not good at everything, but I am good at planning. I am good at creativity, pretty good at writing. So those areas, if you need extra assistance, you got to let me know so we can plan it out and make sure we have some scheduled time to talk it through. But get those people who can help you. The areas that you're weak in, get someone to help you. So again, I'll be sending that out either tonight or tomorrow. I'm getting a little tired. I didn't realize it was almost 10 o'clock. Oh my goodness. So yes, lastly, you can't see this image, April, but I have a car in the headlights because the first image I believe I had was like a rearview mirror, us looking backwards. Now it's about us looking forward and looking into 2018 and creating, that business plan, what that looks like moving forward. What do we want our business to look like moving forward? And now I can hold you accountable, Tobias, because I know you said that wasn't bringing in much income. So now we can make a change for that for 2018. Yeah. Let's make it more profitable than what it was this year.
That's gonna be easy.
Well, we start out easy, and then we take it up a notch. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want us to grow. I want us to grow together. I want us to, bless the world together. So. I'll be sending. I was, I guess, too excited in the beginning, so I didn't record the very beginning. But I just started recording, I think, maybe quarter into it. So I'll send out the recording, this presentation, and then the homework once my email gets working, my platform, Outlook server was down. But, any thoughts, any questions regarding anything? I mean, definitely, anything faith-wise, but in terms of business, making a plan, moving forward, what marketing strategies or tactics may work for you, anything.
I enjoyed this call. A lot of food for thought. And also, I like the homework assignment too. It's really going to get me thinking.
Yeah. 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 I guess that, the key is, you don't want to learn how to swim when you're in the pool.
Exactly.
So, if you can learn how to swim for 2018 right now, while we still have a few months and few weeks left in 2017, this is kind of the best place to be, is to kind of ramp up now for later. And so that's the key. Get ready, or be ready, so you don't have to get ready.
That's true.
Awesome sauce. Well, it's been a pleasure. I feel like we've talked about everything underneath the sun.
Yeah,
good combo though.
From presidents to MLK to Chick-fil-A, good chicken, and
had me wanting to go get some chicken.
oh my goodness. We talked about it all, but hopefully you was able to take something away, and something will resonate with you as it relates to your personal brand or your professional brand as well.
Oh yeah, so I do think I want to make a run at creating a product before the year is over.
All right.
So yeah, I'll be in touch with you, both of you, I guess, about that. So yeah.
Okay, we're talking about this year. We're talking about before 2017 is over.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, keep us in the loop, please.
Yes, absolutely.
And seriously, one thing that we talked about, that I talk about with Detour Movement is, if we have our marketing plans or like our ideas that is going to come up, then we can cross market. Then we can, introduce each other's products and services or programs or conferences or books. And so it helps to have a plan, because if they present to me, hey, I'm doing something, in a week, it's like, well, I already have my ideas on how I need to market my stuff, so it's hard for me to cross market your stuff as well. So absolutely, Tobias, as soon as you know anything, definitely let me know so I can be a support and assist in any way possible. I mean, definitely, of course, covering it in prayer, that's without a doubt. But if there's a way for me to share and spread the message, then let me know. I just need to be able to plan it.
No, thanks.
Plan it. So,
and I'll be happy to post it on my timeline if you tag me in once everything's together. You're welcome. No problem.
Yeah, no, cool. I'll be. Yeah, thank you.
But whatever it is, we just have to start where we're. I love when Alicia says we just have to start where we stand. I think sometimes we want to release a product, release a program, and we're like, yeah, man, I want 300 people to sign up. And it's okay if 300 don't. We go back to the example of the 12 disciples. 300 people didn't. It wasn't really 300 people weren't really qualified at the moment. It's just you gotta crawl before you walk, and it's okay for it to start small and it to grow into something big. Because what you don't want is for it to be big and you jack it up and then it goes small. Like, you want it to start small and to grow and to just, like, that's a part of graduating, like in business. Like, your sales grow over time, and so it's okay to start with 2, start with 3, start with 5, but just start. The key is to start, and God will bless your efforts, your work efforts. So anyway, That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen.
It was awesome. I appreciate it. Before we go, Samuel said, hello, Doda Kadesha. Doda is Hebrew for auntie.
Oh, wait, let me write that down. What is it, DODA?
DODA.
Oh, hi, Samuel. I'll see you in 2 weeks, my dear.
Yes, I will definitely tell him.
Yes. Well, let me just, I guess, pray us out so we can feel good about this. Lord, we just thank you. We thank you for the opportunities to share, the opportunity to laugh and to be transparent and to just have fellowship online. How phenomenal is that? We thank you for the technology that you've created. God, I thank you for the businesses and the ministries that you put in Tobias and April and myself and even little Samuel. I pray that the things that you put in us, we will have the courage and the faith to move it forward, that we will not be stagnant on our dreams, God, but that we will push through, and that we are indeed pregnant with your purpose, God. So show us how to deliver it. Show us how to birth it. Give us the proper midwives that we need, so we can have that support, God, and bring the resources that we need financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, every resource that we need, God, bring it now. God, just bless us. Give us great dreams tonight. Give us great vision. And let us finish this year strong from a business and ministry standpoint, God, and let us start 2018 even stronger. So we love you, we thank you, we lift you up, and we just give you all the praise and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Well, have an awesome, phenomenal night. Get some good rest. And Tobias, I'll be looking out. I'll be looking out for that product. Did you say it was a product?
Yeah, hopefully. That's where it's going. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking out for it.
Yeah.
But all right, so you'll be hearing from me over email in the next day or so.
Okay, looking forward to it. You all have a good night as well.
All right, you do the same.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.